We've got a lot of news to go over in today's video. You can get a free PlayStation 4 dynamic theme right now, and it's of an upcoming game that's highly anticipated, so you'll want to check that out. Speaking of anticipated games, Fallout 76 is one of the year's more anticipated games, arguably the most anticipated. There will be a beta for the game, but unfortunately for PlayStation 4 owners, you're getting it a little bit later than the Xbox One users. PlayStation Hits have been confirmed a lineup of classic titles that will be available at a cheaper retail price. The Final Fantasy VII Remake's development is going well according to the director, and BioWare has shed some light on the story and choices in Anthem. More on that in a little bit. First, let's talk about the free dynamic theme you can get right now, and that is of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You can go on the PlayStation Store right now, look up the Assassin's Creed Odyssey dynamic theme, and give it a download and apply it if you so wish. At the very least, I would add it to your library because I am not sure if this is a timed free dynamic theme. Usually the dynamic themes are timed and free, so I would get that as soon as possible. I know all of you aren't big Assassin's Creed fans, but hey, why not add it to your libraries at some point down the line? Maybe you'll play Assassin's Creed Odyssey and you'll fall in love with the game and you're like, man, I wish I had a dynamic theme to go with my PlayStation 4. Well, now you have the opportunity to get one for absolutely free. And generally speaking, the PlayStation 4 dynamic themes usually look pretty slick, and they usually do go for around $2.99, so to get one for absolutely free, a nice gesture by the guys over at Ubisoft. Moving on from that, Fallout 76 is, yes, one of the year's most anticipated games. However, it's a game that I personally am not completely sold on, and that's why I'm very excited about a beta for the game so I can get a taste of the game prior to launch. However, it looks like PlayStation 4 owners will be getting the beta after the Xbox One users, and it seems like this is some sort of marketing agreement. It seems like Bethesda and Microsoft are on really good terms with each other. After all, Todd Howard did make an appearance at the Microsoft E3 conference, announced Fallout 4 on Game Pass, and generally speaking, they just seem like they are working on the same page. The Fallout 76 beta timeline hasn't been revealed yet when exactly that'll take place. At this point, the definition of the word beta has really become muddled. If this beta occurs sometime in September, well, that's just 2 months prior to the release of the game. Yes, you'll be able to work on networking issues and things like that, but the actual fundamentals of the game are already made, and at that point, the game would probably have already gone gold. The actual point of a beta used to be to test drive a game and see what kind of adjustments they have to make. I'm sure they can make minor adjustments, but having a beta just a little while prior to its official release, it's really now more seen as a demo for players to try out a game before actually buying it, so that's still very nice because Fallout 76 is a game that, while I can appreciate for its ambition, and while it sounds incredible that Todd Howard is saying that the game is 4 times the size of Fallout 4, I am not quite yet sold on it, and it seems like I'm not the only one in that boat. So trying out a beta will be very nice, but we are going to be getting it after the Xbox One players. But at the very least, at least the beta is not console exclusive.
Will your bomb land on a rival camp of degenerates? A random stranger? The local wildlife? Whatever your target may be, take advantage of the resulting fallout to gather rare and valuable resources. Yet these rewards don't come without risk. The fate of this new world is yours to...
Moving on from that, Sony has announced their lineup of PlayStation Hits titles. Now, PlayStation Hits titles are very similar to what we saw with Greatest Hits title back in the PS2 days. A lot of great older titles for a great MSRP. Now, the only issue is, because I am very stingy on this, they do have a red label on top of the case that says PlayStation Hits. That right away, the people that are like me are gonna turn a lot of people off, because while these games are available at good prices, that little red label is just so disgusting to look at, but maybe I'm the only one in that boat. Let's take a look at the games that will be available in the PlayStation Hits lineup. These games all look to be $19.99, and the lineup consists of Bloodborne, Drive Club, Infamous Second Son, Killzone Shadowfall, Little Big Planet 3, Ratchet & Clank, The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Battlefield 4, Doom, Project Cars, Street Fighter 5, Yakuza Kiwami, Yakuza 0, and Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, the Metal Gear Solid 5 version they have pictured is the definitive experience, so that is something to note as well. Now, while $19.99 for a lot of these games aren't great deals, what you have to understand is I believe this will translate into physical and digital title, and games like Uncharted 4 have been listed at $39.99 on the PlayStation Store. On sale, they'd be $19.99. But now what this means is the next time Uncharted 4 is on sale, it'll actually be less than $19.99, and that goes with a lot of the other games. I believe Yakuza 0 is typically listed at $39.99. Well, now at $19.99, if that goes on sale, it'll be even cheaper than that. So that $19.99 base price, while for some of the games are pretty good deals, what this really means is that when these games go on sale, now they'll be even cheaper, and that's when you should be picking up these games. European players will be seeing a similar list with a couple other games on their lineup as well. We'll leave a link in the description box where you can take a look at all of the titles. Next up, in the latest issue of Japanese magazine weekly Famitsu, Final Fantasy VII Remake director Tetsuya Nomura talked a little bit about the status of the game, and here are some of the notable tidbits. Quote, "We're trying to figure out when we will put out the next news release. Production is going well. The scenario will also delve into the members of Avalanche." That's very interesting. To me, that sounds like we're getting extra content to delve even further into the backstories of the various party members, so I'm definitely all for that. He also said development is moving along more than expected, so please wait for the next news release with peace of mind. On top of that, he said, quote, "The direction was pretty much decided upon before we changed to internal development, and production is going well. While preserving the atmosphere of the original, the scenario will dig deeper into the characters, including members of Avalanche." So again, what I said before, we're probably going to get some sort of additional content that's going to delve deeper into the backstories of the various characters. We've already had various side games such as Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus and the movies, and Advent Children, and then we had Crisis Core. Crisis Core, I've been saying, there's a section in the OG Final Fantasy VII game, I guess spoilers for a 21-year-old game, that if you go there, it actually shows you a scene from Crisis Core. I feel like with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, if they really want to go all in when you get to that point, they should just launch a full-on Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Remake. I think that would be insane if somehow you could throw in the Crisis Core Remake with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. It seems they're not pulling any punches with the FF7 Remake, so I would not put that completely out of the question. But yeah, it looks like development is going well and it's moving along more than expected, but honestly, what was expected? The game was announced back in 2015, over 3 years ago, and we still haven't heard much since then. Hopefully we get a significant information drop. We still have a bunch of events coming up this year, whether it be TGS, whether it be PlayStation Experience. At some point, we gotta hear more about the FF7 Remake, and with Kingdom Hearts 3 almost being a finished product at this point, you know they're gonna be talking more and more about the FF7 Remake.
Doing this for the planet, same as us.
Not interested.
When? Get back here!
And finally, let's talk a little bit about Anthem. And game director John Warner explained some details about the game. This includes story and some of the choices that they made throughout the game. Here's something he said in regards to playing through the game. Quote, "There are still many twists and turns as a part of the critical path of the game and the side quests that you do. Some of it is about world building, some of it is about learning about this unfinished world of Anthem, but things happen to characters that they'll never come back from. When you're in base, that is your story. Then you go off and do missions in a world that is dynamic and shared with other players. You're out there doing stuff, and some of the things you choose to do will impact your story, but your story is really a single player story, and you decide what happens next. If you go and get something in the world as a part of a mission and bring it back, you decide which character you're gonna give it to, which relationship you're gonna foster. You have your own progress through the story." Anthem was originally scheduled for a release in 2018. It was delayed until February 22nd, 2019, which is a big day for game releases. Days Gone also releases on that day, as does Metro Exodus, so that day is absolutely packed. This is another game I'm not completely sold on, but what we've seen has looked rather good. Hopefully EA can deliver with the finished product on February 22nd.
Right. Checking out the Scar Camp some more.
Look at all the weapons! Oh, and the turrets! Better move quickly.
So that is going to conclude this video. As I mentioned, Assassin's Creed Odyssey Dynamic Theme is absolutely free on the PlayStation Store. Give that a look. Fallout 76 will have a beta, but the PlayStation 4 beta will arrive after the Xbox One beta. PlayStation is launching the PlayStation Hits lineup of games, $19.99 each, some classic titles, and while they're not all great deals, what this does is lowers the retail price, so when these games go on sale, they'll be cheaper than ever before. Development of the Final Fantasy VII Remake is going well. Hopefully, I'll be able to see it in this lifetime, and there are a lot of details coming out about Anthem as a part of Game Informer's month of coverage, so make sure you stay in tune with that, but that game also looks rather ambitious. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.